guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, Married Men Who Deeply Regret Getting Married Are Revealing What Their Lives Are Actually Like. And a shout out to AM for sending me this article. And guys, like the title says, this is from 15 different dudes around the world that are sharing what they deal with or have dealt with in their marriages. And to no surprise, it ain't pretty. And I'd be going to go over here as a reminder to all you guys out there that, now let me just say this. I know that a lot of guys watching this are either divorced, and there's no way they're going to take the plunge and do that again, or a lot of guys that are single and say, I'm never going to do that. Well, it's amazing how people say never and then eventually can change their mind. So let this be a good refresher and reminder what guys go through, as if you didn't already know, to make you really think twice about what you may go through. And of course, guys, if you are in a marriage and it's bad, think about that others have been through it and gotten out. And by the way, let me make this clear. I'm not saying all marriages are like this. In fact, there are some people that have been married for a number of years, have kids, and the husband and wife, they still love each other. They got a good thing going. And that's great. We need more of that. Unfortunately, the majority are like this and range from being just like roommates or absolutely miserable hating each other's guts. It's terrible. And if it's that bad, guys, get out. So, 15 brief stories, and I think you'll enjoy this. So, the article says here, we recently asked married men of the BuzzFeed community who regret getting married to tell us why. And men who are currently or formerly married gave their honest answers, which range from shocking to completely heartbreaking. Here's what they had to say. Okay, here we go. Here's the first one. It says here, I was from the UK and she was an American. Well, that's a bad idea to start off with. Basically, she was the woman of my dreams. I moved to the USA so we could live together. We married way too quickly, but it was easier visa-wise to stay together. The abuse started small, but got more severe over time. Probably because he was acting weak and she lost respect for him and he kept taking her crap. Physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive. I think there was some mental illness there, but she never bothered to find out. She finally cheated on me for a few months, and she gaslit me so much and was cruel to me that I moved back to the UK and had a mental breakdown. From that to now, I remarried to a wonderful woman who makes me very happy every day. And that's from a guy who's 44 years old. So what did he do? What did he do wrong? He left his country to come over here on her turf. Immediately, he's chasing her. Bad idea. And obviously, when I'm connecting the dots, probably she ran the relationship. He let her boss him around. She lost respect for him. And there you go. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not a magician. I'm not whatever you want to call it. I can't tell everything that happened, but I can see some little clues where it went wrong. Number 2 says here, I have been married for over 23 years. We have 2 grown children together and share some great times and adventures. Unfortunately, lately, she's had zero drive to do anything. She sits in bed anytime she's at home, watching TV and being on her phone on social media. There is no sex. I stay active and healthy playing sports and building projects. My focus is the kids, so I spend my time with them doing activities and listening to what they have to say and how they are navigating life. The negative comments and constant nagging have left me lonely and emotionally unavailable. I haven't cheated, but I know there has to be more to life than this. If you're a woman reading this, don't think that because you love your husband, you can just keep dumping on him and he will accept it. If he stops arguing, doesn't ask for intimacy, and is generally quiet, he is moving on. And that's a guy who's 57 years old from California. Well, there you go. Sounds like this guy's pretty much checking out. So what I heard, it was good in the beginning, shocker, and then it got bad. And she's not putting any effort. There's no hooking up. He's 57. He's no spring chicken, but he can still replace her. And if this guy works out and takes care of himself, has his shit together, guess what? He could probably get, if he wants, probably chicks in their 40s, or probably even late 30s if he wants to. I think it's time for him to be done. He could probably try, see if she has depression and get her help, but if it ain't going anywhere, if it's gone too far, goodbye. Number 3, she used me for citizenship. She continued to steal money from me, our account, while I was working and sent it back to her family. We barely had just enough to have 2 beautiful daughters. Are you sure they're yours? Eventually, she ended up cheating on me and kicking me out of the house. I slept in the garage for a while until I figured I could figure something else out. She spoils them, our daughters, even though she makes minimum wage. Now, many years later, after our divorce, she complains I don't do enough for her and our daughters, who are 16 and 21. I can't afford it. It makes me sick to think about it. Well, that guy got royally screwed. So, guys, watch out for the girls that are coming up that want a green card or want to become citizens and putting on all the charm. Boom, there you go. I'm glad he got divorced from her. And notice, she got the house and he got kicked out, right? And she was draining their account and sending it back to wherever the fuck they're from to support the family. Well, he's divorced now. And, of course, she doesn't have enough money. But the daughter, 16 and 21, well, the 21-year-old, she's an adult. She can get a fucking job. And the 16-year-old girl, she can get a part-time job in school. Right there. Number 4, this guy says, I was 29 years old. We were barely dating, just casual. She told me she was pregnant and planned to keep the baby and to not worry about being involved if I didn't want to. Honestly, we didn't know each other very well. I couldn't stand the thought of having a child and not being there for them. I really fell in love with her. We made it work and had 2 more beautiful kids. Our kids are grown and still considers motherhood her top priority. Well, okay, that point sounds all right, but he shouldn't have rushed into things just because she was pregnant. He could have, if it was his kid, raised the kid with her separately. We are not intimate, and besides our kids, we have little in common. I knew the risk I took, hoping to make things work for the sake of the kids. I always love my wife, but can't help but think we'd be happier with different people. And that's a guy who's 54 years old, again, from California. Okay, loves his kids. It sounds like he's not getting any, but aside from that, he's tolerating it for the kids. Well, that's no way to live. If you ain't getting any, But anyhow, he has the option of staying in it, being comfortable, but not getting nothing there, or parting ways after the kids are, I guess, old enough, if that's what he wants, and then moving on. Another one, number 5. This guy says, I regret getting married as a broken teenager to another broken teenager. Well, that's pretty stupid, getting married as a teenager. Life in that long marriage was so hard, and the problems it caused were absolutely devastating and damaging. I can't help but think about how much better life would have been if I'd just chosen better. With that being said, I made decent life for myself despite these problems, so I don't dwell on the regret. Well, that was the end of his thing. And he doesn't say where he's from or how old he is, but getting married as a teenager, super young, that's stupid. But so many people don't have role models and guides and mentors to say that's stupid. Number 6, I've discovered that I enjoy being single more than being in any relationships I've ever been in. I said forget it and settled. Now I'm trapped in a terribly stressful marriage. How many guys out there are watching this right now that are married and they realize they feel they can't get out. They're trapped. Well, I think when guys say they're trapped, I think it's because they themselves have trapped themselves thinking that they're trapped. He was happier single. Number 7, we're possibly getting a divorce and losing everything we have built in the last 13 years. That being said, I don't regret the marriage. It was a title, a piece of paper, and a piece of jewelry. I just regret investing so much time in something only to lose it. Well, then you do regret it. Why are you saying you don't regret it when you do regret it? That's stupid. It's like people that screw up in life and say, I wouldn't change a thing. I don't regret anything. Yeah, come on. Your ego can't handle that. Number 8. I wish I hadn't married so young. Notice we're hearing a lot of that. And with relatively little relationship experience. I married at 26 years old, and it was only my 3rd relationship and the 2nd sexual partner. Oh, God. Admittedly, she was the one keen to get married, and as neither of us wanted kids, so it seemed like a good fit at the time, and I assume most women wanted kids. And I wasn't sure how easily I'd find another partner who did not. We separated after 8 years, mostly because we had grown apart and had nothing in common. In hindsight, we could and should have parted ways at least 2 years prior. I saw the writing on the wall, but wasn't sure how to get out of it. I know some people marry their childhood sweethearts and stay together their entire lives, but people need to realize this is very, very rare exception. It is very rare. I mean, come on here. This is not the movies. These days, people have much higher expectations in life and more variety in dating opportunities. If I could advise my younger self or people in a similar situation, it would be to know what you like and don't like and what you will or won't tolerate in any partner. The good news is life is much better now. I did my share casual dating, and I'm in a much better, stable relationship. No plans to marry again. Once bitten, twice shy. Well, good he got out of it. I'm glad he admitted. See, this isn't a jackass that's like, I wouldn't change anything. No, he admits he messed up. And he learned and got divorced. And now he's in a relationship. He says he'll never get married again, but we've heard that song and dance before. But yeah, so guys, it's interesting. It really is true about relationship. It's not what you like. It's not what you're like. It's what you like. So it's generally ideal that you want to have people that you have things in common with, that you like to do. You don't have to be alike. That's the thing. If you have two people that are too much alike, that could be a problem. Number 9. Worst choice I ever made. It was due to an ultimatum, and I was being manipulated and coerced. I even knew at the time, but I was so scared of being alone that I went with it anyway. Smack! I have no sympathy for men that whine like little Prince Harry bitches that they can't be alone. What the fuck is the matter with you? Get some balls. I bet he's wishing he's alone now instead of being with this harpy. Men that say, I can't be alone, I'm scared to be alone, always end up with bad relationships, as in girlfriends or wives, or even friendships, because to them, it's worse to be alone. Newsflash, there are a lot of guys out there that are quote-unquote alone, and they're quite happy. They got they like what they do for a living. They got their hobbies, their interests, their bros, They probably have a dog or a cat, You hear me complaining. I love my life. And the whole alone, you truly can't be in a place that you can get rid of people that are rotten until you can handle being alone. I have no patience. Anyhow. It ultimately destroyed my life. What'd I tell you? It turns out she's a crazy human being who seems to exist only to leech off others and destroy everything she touches. And we have a child, so I have the pleasure of watching her destroy yet another life one day at a time. Well, smack again for the whole I can't be alone shit. There you go. Big surprise in who she is. Then get out of it. You're watching her destroy the kid. Get out of it. Divorce. Find out your options. Now, obviously, understandably, most places she'll get the kid. And maybe he's staying around just to protect the kid. I don't know. But regardless, he could definitely man up here. I can absolutely see that right away. Number 10. I often regret it. I felt like we had a good sense of connection and understanding when we married. Well, that's a lot of people. Looking back on it now, I realize much of what was based on misunderstandings and assumptions. We had some good times, and I care about her, but at this point, marriage has been more stressful and exhausting than anything else. And yet, people keep doing it. My girl's different. Will be different. Love will find a way. Number 11. I regret it. I found out 2 months after the wedding that she'd been having an affair since before the wedding. And now I can't get divorced for an entire year. Well, at least you're on the path to divorce. He probably lives in a place where the court wants you to wait a year and go to counseling, all that bullshit. Cheating before the wedding. Hopefully it hasn't been long, you can get an annulment, but then I guess it's too late. But that is why, gentlemen, nowadays it isn't so crazy to hire a private investigator to do some digging up some dirt on the girl you're going to marry. Really. 12. I'm on the verge of divorce after 22 years of marriage and 3 kids. She turned to alcohol and is now constantly battling depression and mood swings. I stayed 15 years too long, hoping she would get help, but she didn't do it. I stayed for the kids, but my youngest is in 8th grade now, and I just can't. I will never get married again. Okay, yeah, things like that happen. Drug addiction, alcoholism, gambling, all these different addictions and problems and all that. And good people try to help their significant other for a while, but there's a point when they're not going to get better. And having someone in my family who lifelong addiction problems, all that with alcohol and drugs, and in and out of rehab, believe me, it's a mess. Number 13. I wish I had the mindset and smarts at the time to date other people and choose a better match. I married for the wrong reasons and to the wrong person. That said, she brought our children into the world, and that is the best thing in my life. While I respect her for that, I definitely have regrets. A lot of people say, I'm divorced, my wife is a fucking asshole and all these things, but at least I got the kids. And so, that could be the saving grace, if indeed they're kids. 14. I would say the first marriage wasn't a mistake, and it produced my kids, who are fantastic. We just grew to be different people. The second marriage was a mistake. I chose to get married the second time to solve a problem that was never solved. We're currently going through a divorce. I have no intention of getting married again. I don't see the point in marriage because you just choose to be in a committed relationship. So the first marriage he said was good, but they just grew apart, so it wasn't so good. And he went and got married a second time. I get anybody can make a mistake once. I get a lot of people that went and got married the first time, particularly before like YouTube was around and places where you can hear stories like this. I can get anybody can do it once. But after going through a really bad marriage and typically an even worse divorce, that misery and getting hammered, I don't get how guys do it a second time. That is fucking crazy. But then again, people most of the time make their decisions based on emotions. And their emotions, and it's ridiculous. So, first time, I can feel bad for guys. Second time, no. Number 15. I regretted my first marriage. I married too young and for the wrong person and for the wrong reasons. Noticing a trend here? Too young. Wrong reasons. No experience. My first marriage was super destructive. She abused me, took advantage of my good nature, and made my life a living hell. Well, probably because you're a pushover. Getting divorced was the best decision I made my entire life. It wasn't just about leaving the relationship, it also got me into therapy and working on healthy boundaries. Good. Notice boundaries. In other words, he has some balls. Stands up for himself. It got me to reevaluate all the relationships in my life. It set me on the path to becoming a much wiser man. In my second marriage, God, another one that got in the second marriage, I made very different choices and have the best relationship ever. Well, good for him. Nothing has brought more joy to my life than being with someone who truly loves me, getting to love and take care of her, and having her love and take care of me. Marrying my second wife is the second best decision I ever made. To be in a healthy relationship with good communication, where everyone knows how to feel, regulate, and express their feelings constructively. Where we like to do the same thing on the weekends, and where we like being together. Well, that's the last one that ended on a happier note. But I want to bet you his second marriage wouldn't be like this, and he wouldn't have met this great gal that he says is fantastic, if the first one didn't go so bad, and he went to therapy and did a lot of work on himself. Notice the working on the self part, which I tell you all to do. Self-improvement, learning to set boundaries, growing a spine, having a backbone, all that type of thing. I guess growing a spine, having a backbone is the same thing, but okay, whatever. But the point is, and that way it helped him attract someone of good quality and set boundaries from the beginning, acted like a man, and now things are going well for him. So I wish him all the best. Anyhow, guys, there you go. 15 stories, and I think that will only reinforce for all you guys out there that have been divorced. I know there are plenty out there. You're like, yep. I'm sure you enjoy your freedom. But to all the guys out there watching this that want to get married, maybe it's your religion, maybe because you just really want kids one day and you're learning all this shit to help improve yourself so you can attract the best gal for you and handle things right. Still be aware of all this bullshit, and I hope you remember a lot of these things and learn the things that, taking what you've learned over the time, watching my videos and other great channels to help you out. But my God, but again, statistically, I don't know what it is now, the divorce rate in America, in the United States of America. I know a few years ago it was around 60%, but that's pretty high, guys. And then the ones that don't get divorced are in it because either they're usually the kids, because they're usually staying in it and they're living as roommates. They get along, but it's nothing there. They're not hooking up, or they're fucking miserable. And only a teeny tiny percent actually are happy with each other. I'd love it that more are happy with each other, but we have such a selfish fucking society, and don't get me started on that. I just don't see it getting any better. So I would say for the majority of you, unless it's for really religious reasons and your culture and things like that, I just don't see it making a lot of sense until things vastly improve on multiple fronts, with the family courts, the laws, with the genuine attitude of women nowadays. I can go on and on. But if you do it, it's kind of like Russian roulette. But anyhow, on that happy note, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.